go ahead and lay down on a mat or carpet. And if you're having any sort of back or neck pain, you could do this with your knees bent as opposed to long. And first, we're going to focus on which way your nose is pointed. So just imagine that you have a pencil on the tip of your nose. And which way would the pencil be pointed? Is the pencil more to the right or in the middle or more to the left? You could use your imagination for this one. I'm giving you a visual, but just notice where your head and nose is angled because this is going to change by the lesson's end. And also notice what part of the back of your head is most in contact with the floor right now. And we're going to begin with a brief body scan. So pretend like you're drawing a line down your spine from the back of your head. And just trace the line all the way down your neck and notice how high the arch is of your neck. And if you're going to draw that line of your back on the floor, just notice any parts that feel more in contact with the ground or parts that feel less in contact with the ground. How about your shoulder blade? How in contact with the ground is that? And check in if you notice any parts of your body are clenching or holding. And we want to invite those parts to let go, to relax into the ground, into the rug even more. Find your breath. And let's begin by bending your knees and finding a comfortable position for your feet to stand on the ground. And we're going to begin with a very small mini pelvic tilt. So what this means is you're going to allow your tailbone to float up towards the ceiling, and as that happens, your back flattens. And then you're going to exhale and release. So we could coordinate this with our breathing. As you roll up, you could gently inhale. And as you exhale, release. Now do this nice, slow, and rhythmic. Make sure you avoid any jerky motions as you do this. Do this several times. It's like massaging your low back. Do it in a way that you could do this for a half an hour or an hour without getting fatigued. So if you notice when you're rolling up, you're tensing anywhere, you're doing too much work, too much effort. And see if you could soften the movement. Do even less. So do it so it's a minuscule movement. In other words, that you could hardly see the movement happening at all. If you focus in on my pelvis, if you're watching this, you'll see a very small movement of my spine going upward and downward. Anywhere you're holding your muscles, like in your jaw or chest, that will inhibit the flow of this movement. And now go ahead and straighten your right leg and just keep your left leg bent. And focus on your pelvis. And now we're going to do a one-legged pelvic tilt. So push gently through your left foot and feel that diagonal that is being drawn on the floor up to your right shoulder. Go small and slow because anytime we're learning a new motor movement, oftentimes we may halt or clench some of our muscles, particularly those around our eyes and our jaw. Keep your face relaxed. And continue a few more times to find that X being drawn on the back. And do it one more time. And then go ahead and take your knee out to the left. Slide it along the outside of your foot long, which is the pinky side of your foot. And then take that imaginary pencil And now notice which way the pencil is pointed. Is it more to the left or more to the right? And feel what's the difference from doing these small micro movements now and how your back is making contact with the floor. Is there any difference in the right low back versus the left? Now go ahead and bring that leg up the same way that you lowered it, so slide it up on the outside of your left foot. Find a comfortable spot to have it bent, so it might be a little bit more to the left of where it was when both knees were bent. And this time we're going to coordinate the movement with rolling of your head right. So as you push through your left foot, go ahead and push like you're pushing the floor away, off weight the left side of your pelvis, and your head rolls slightly to the right. I'll repeat this. Gently push the left foot into the ground like you're pushing the floor away, and this off weights the left side of the pelvis onto the right, and your head and neck rolls gently to the right. Make sure you're allowing your head just to fall as opposed to pushing it to the right. Do it one more time. And then let it go, let your leg go long, and take a pause. Now go ahead and bend the same knee, the same leg. And this time we're going to do the same movement of your leg, but we're going to roll the head the opposite way. So push the left foot into the floor just enough to roll your pelvis to the right. And as you're doing this, you're going to find a very moment where it's just so easy to roll your head to the left. Do this 4 or 5 times. Let your head just be carried as it rolls to the left. Let your legs slide long, nice and effortless. And do one check just to roll your head once to the right and once to the left, just to see what's the difference in how easily it rolls now to the right and to the left. Take a moment and notice any differences in the length of your left leg versus the right, how much contact your left leg is making now with the ground. Any differences in what part of your low back or mid back is contacting the ground. What's the difference in how the left pelvis is laying versus the right? Slide your right foot up. Take your knee to the outside and slide it up. And once you find that good placement of your foot where your toes are pointed away from you, go ahead and push through the floor just enough to off-weight the right side of the pelvis. And as you off-weight the right side of the pelvis, the weight rolls to the left, and that diagonal line is made to the left shoulder. Do it nice and rhythmic, free of any effort, tension, or holding. Focus on that line being drawn on the floor, that diagonal, from the right hip to the left shoulder. Make it even less work. Pause for a moment. And now the next one you do, go ahead and push through your foot, off-weight the right side of your pelvis, and roll your head to the left. So allow your head to be simply carried to the left, as opposed to using any neck musculature. Do this 3 or 4 times. pushing through the foot, feeling that diagonal. And at that very moment where it feels so effortless, so easy, go ahead and roll your head to the left. Okay, relax, let that leg go, take a break. And once again, check in with the same questions I just asked you. Go ahead and bend that knee once again. And this time we're going to coordinate it with rolling the head the opposite way. So go ahead and push through the foot, off-weight the right side of the pelvis so the pelvis rolls to the left. And at that very moment, you're going to roll your head to the right. So push through the foot, off-weight the right side of the pelvis, feel that diagonal to the left shoulder, and roll your head to the right. Do it 2 more times. And then take a brief pause. And now we're going to bend both your knees and we're going to coordinate both these movements of pushing through one side of the pelvis and then the other. So you're going to alternate pushing through one foot and feeling the diagonal go across your body, and then alternate with pushing through the other foot. And for this, you just allow your head and neck to stay stationary. Go ahead and push through your foot. Feel that diagonal X being drawn across the floor. Make it lazy. Make it effortless and easy. Make sure your breath is free. And now we're going to just pause and then we're going to coordinate it with the movement of the head. So start with your left foot, push your left foot into the floor and roll your head to the right. Push your right foot into the floor and roll your head to the left. Push your foot into the floor, feel that diagonal that rolls your head to the right, and vice versa. Do it just a few more times. It should feel really good. And then pause in the middle and let your legs go long. Feel the differences that are occurring. You might feel a little bit more balance between the right side of the pelvis and the left side. You might experience both legs as a little bit longer. And go ahead and roll your head once to each side just to see if it's easier to roll, if it's becoming more symmetrical. Okay, go ahead and bend your knees once again. And now we're going to do the same movement, but this time we're going to take the head the opposite way. If this is confusing, just think about the movement before you actually do it. So go ahead and push through one foot and roll your head the same way. So go ahead and push through the left foot and roll your head to the left. Exhale, release. Push through the right foot, feel that diagonal, and roll your head to the right. Keep alternating, going the same direction as the foot. And then pause. And now we're going to go back to the initial movement, which is simply the bilateral pelvic tilts. So go ahead and push through both feet equally now and roll up your tailbone. And this is bringing everything together. It's balancing and aligning you. Feel the connection now between the pelvis and the head and neck. Feel each individual vertebra as it comes closer to the floor as you roll your tailbone up. And same thing as you exhale and release your pelvis. Feel each vertebra coming away from the floor. And then when you're ready, go ahead and slowly lower your legs. Now notice If you were going to take that imaginary pencil from the tip of your nose, now which way is the pencil pointed? Is it more to the right or more to the left? Imagine that line down your back of your spine. Does it feel more balanced in the middle? If you were going to lie on a balance beam, would you fall to the right or to the left, or does it feel more balanced than it did initially? And anything else you might notice. And then when you're ready to come up, go ahead and roll to the right. Use your left hand and your upper right arm and push those part of the arms into the floor. And use your pelvis as a fulcrum to gently push yourself up to sitting, and on your own time come up to standing. You might be just a little bit lightheaded because of the change. Now go for a little walk around the room. And just this lesson may have been enough to really balance and align your spine, to have you feel more symmetry on both sides of you, and to have you feel like your head and neck is being carried, which hence takes the work off your neck and could even decrease the pain if you're having any discomfort or tightness in that area. This is a Feldenkrais lesson which teaches us to use our bodies more efficiently and more wisely. When we do things like play tennis or use a keyboard and use the mouse all day, which of course so many of us do, then we get lopsided, we get more one-sided. Nothing's wrong with this, but this is a simple lesson to help you to come back to your center and find your alignment once again. Thank you.